heart, that your heart is beating over 100,000 times a day. You need calcium, you need vitamin D to actually improve the cardiovascular fitness, the muscle contraction of your heart. So vitamin D has a direct effect on improving your overall heart pumping action, improving the vascular nature of your blood vessels, and also improving your gut microbiome. And that is the interface between the outside world, and every food that you're ingesting into your body has to get absorbed through your gut. Your gut health is so vital to your overall brain health, heart health, inflammation, reduction of cancer, immune health. So vitamin D throughout the winter, because of the lack of sunlight and the days getting shorter and shorter, has a profound effect on our overall mental health. And that's been known. The winter blues has been talked about. That's been known across decades and decades of research.
And the other thing is that, again, Americans know that, forget which doc it was. It might have been you. It might have been, I don't remember who it was, but he said he's more surprised when he reads somebody's blood work and their vitamin D levels are normal. He goes, most Americans, again, that was over 90% of Americans are vitamin D deficient. And so he said, if I saw somebody with normal vitamin D range, I was surprised when I saw with the low level. I was like, oh yeah, that figures. So most Americans, again, vitamin D deficient. Great reason to do the Rescue 1250 Plus. Doc, we're going to come up with a board game called Name That Food. You'll be a shoo-in to win the grand championship.
Well, listen.
Have a great.
That was really exciting because you know what? I just kept on listening and listening and listening, and when you put the cheese in it with all those other things,
yeah,
I was
you got it, man.
That's gotta be. And you know what? I read the label of Doritos maybe like 10 years ago, and I go, oh,
we're up against the clock here. I got to run, but hey, Doc, have a great week.
Right.
Thank you, Doc.
Right.
Yep. All right, so again, the Rescue Omega-3s are all buy one, get one free, or buy two, get two more of the same free. For every one you buy, you get one more free. All of Rescue's Omega-3s, buy one, get one free. Coupon code MyOmega. That's MyOmega when you shop online at res-q.com or when you call 1-800-26-ALIVE. And you still get the free shipping on orders of $75 or more and the rewards points. That offer ends Thursday at midnight. All other Rescue products 37% off. RES-Q, no coupon code needed on that. RES-Q.com or 1-800-26-ALIVE. Have a healthy week.
This program is paid for by N3 Oceanic Incorporated. All opinions or statements expressed on the program are solely those of N3 Oceanic or their guests and do not reflect the opinions of WPHT or Odyssey.
Hi, I'm Joanne Small-Canella, president of Crash Proof Retirement. Remember the market crash in 2020 when you lost almost 40% of your investment accounts? And remember that promise that you made to yourself that if you ever made some of that money back, you would get off the stock market roller coaster. Well, that time has come, and that time is now. Recently, you've regained some of those lost retirement savings, but you still have not realized those gains because your money is still at risk. Don't forget that promise you made to yourself. Get your money out of risky stocks and bonds and mutual funds. It's time. Keep that promise you made to yourself and family. Crash-proof your future.
Tune in to the Crash Proof Retirement Show with Joanne Small-Canella and Tracy Stillman today at 11 a.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Live and local with Tom Azelby on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Good morning, Philadelphia. Tom Azelby here. Welcome to my show here on 1210 WPHT in Philadelphia. Kirk Corliss is producing. Good morning, Kirk. How are you, my friend?
Good morning. How are you?
Good to hear from you, Kirk. Well, we got a lot going on today. We're waking up to what they call epic fury. That is, U.S. and Israel has just launched a joint attack on Iran. There was a lot of talk of this. I woke up this morning very early, was quite the surprise to hear it, but kind of had a feeling it might be coming our way. So because of that, we're going to kind of go in a couple of different directions in the show. I did put out a couple of feelers to Iranian guy, one is an Iranian gentleman I've had on the show. He leads a Iranian organization, anti-regime. Majid was on the Zioli show with me. I reached out to him this morning. If anyone calls, and I have John Hayward from Breitbart, I put a word out to him. He's also an international specialist. So the very last minute, so I tried to jump on it. They could be calling in. Who I do have as a guest today is Derek Sloan. He's an attorney. Okay, Derek Sloan's an attorney. He's a former member of the Canadian Parliament. And so everyone knows there's the Conservative Party and the Liberal Party in Canada. He was part of the Conservative Party. Now he leads an organization, the Ontario Party. And we're going to get to Derek Sloan. I wanted to talk to Derek today about the relationship with Canada, the United States and Canada's relationship. We got a big trade deal negotiation on that. I would call it the old NAFTA thing between Mexico, Canada, and the United States. That's coming up. But the other thing I wanted to talk to him about is the relationship. And this is my thoughts, and I'm going to have Derek, see what he thinks about this. The Canadian people are once MAGA started, Trump came down that escalator in 2016. The Canadian people have, not all of them, obviously. There's very conservative areas, Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, but they really don't like Donald Trump. They don't like MAGA. And quite frankly, that's the country right now. But the Canadians, and maybe it's just social media hype, but there is a elitist, anti-American, all anti-MAGA, because when you're anti-Trump, you're anti-MAGA, and that's 70 million people in the United States. But I think, Derek, I might be hyping this up a little bit because you get these impulses from reading social media. And I think Americans, and this is not an insult to Canada at all, we don't look at the Canadians like what they're doing every day, what their government is doing every day. We don't do that because it's obviously there are like kissing cousins. They're good partners. They're allies. They followed us into war when we needed them. We had a great relationship. And I don't think Americans look at the Canadians as much as the Canadians look at us because we're the 800-pound gorilla. So the Canadians are always watching what we're doing. But their commentary and their feelings towards us has really changed over the year. And we're going to talk about that with Derek. But before I do that, let's get back to what's going on in Iran right now. So it's epic fury. It's a joint attack by the United States and Israel. It was a daytime attack. It's going on right now. Which is unusual that they did it during the day. I'm sure there's a reason for that. These things are well planned out. Hopefully they go the way you want the plan to go, but it is unusual for a daytime strike. So that's what's going on right now. And we're gonna dig into that. We're gonna dig into that a little bit more. And I don't want to, this is about this attack compared to Iraq, because believe me, this is going to cause a firestorm of disagreements within the Republican Party, within MAGA, with the Democrats. This is a big risk that Donald Trump just took, a giant risk. But what I like is there's no rah-rah thing that went on with Iraq when Democrats, Republicans, our whole public decided to get into that mess. And believe me, I supported it too, like a lot of people did. You don't get that sense. We've learned our lessons from that. So I would say I'm not optimistic. I'm not pessimistic. I really don't know what the outcome is. I hope Trump is right. And I put my faith in them that they know what they're doing and this is going to work in our favor. That's why we put this guy in office. I trust his instincts more than any other politician we've seen. So, but after all our experiences in Iraq, Libya, Afghanistan, nothing went right after you try to overthrow a regime. It's things go really bad. So hopefully this plan is going to work. So Trump has come out and he said to the Iranian people, he gave a speech last night, or he dropped the video basically saying to the Iranian people, we're doing our job, you do your job. It's time to take your country back. He said, you got to seize your future. Don't let this opportunity pass. Now, I know we heard that before with the Iraqi people and everything, but this is what he's telling the Iranians right now. And if you feel uneasy about this morning, if you're waking up, turning on your radio in the car, and you're hearing me talking about that the United States and Israel just attacked Iran, I get it. You should feel uneasy. This is, we have a lot of experience in this, and sometimes in recent history, it hasn't gone well at all. I mean, some people could take it back to the Vietnam War, but so you should feel uneasy. Absolutely. What was going on is the Iranian mullahs, it's a theocracy. They are brutal, brutal people. We have a whole history of them killing Americans in Iraq. 1979 rebel. The Houthis throwing bombs at us, Hezbollah, this stuff, they killed those 261 Marines, or 257, I don't have the exact number, in Beirut. The Iranians have been behind every evil thing that has gone on against America whenever we stepped our toes into the Middle East. And let me tell you something, you have to be in the Middle East. You can't pretend, if we weren't there, everything would work out great. That's not true. It's a complicated world. It always has been. And you know what? Sometimes you gotta go after your enemies, but just you gotta make sure you win. That's it. I would say this about Trump. This is a gamble. He's gambling everything. He's gambling MAGA. He's gambling his presidency. This is such a big bet for him. And I'm with him. And I trust him until it fails. Because if it fails, we have too much of a record to know that if you do this, you better do it right. You better execute. You better win. Because we've seen all the failures in the past. So the old saying, failure is not an option. Failure is not an option here. And man, Trump goes big. There's no doubt about it. And he makes you nervous. I'll say this: he's got a much better team executing this military operation compared to Bush and the neocon strategy in Iraq. So it's definitely a different world. And also remember this: this is a geopolitical move. This is not just about Iran. Believe me, Iran is one of the accesses of evil when you have China and Russia. But this has a lot to do with America's future against very powerful forces. And China is one of them. Russia's one of them. And they're all up to their neck in Iran, just like they were getting up to their neck in Central and South America. Trump is redoing the chessboard. And it could be painful, and you can lose a chess match, to an inferior player. So I don't want to get over optimistic, and I don't want to get too pessimistic. But the bottom line is he's got to win this. There's no doubt about it. And if any breaking news or any of the people I've reached out to call him, we're going to get him on, because quite frankly, this is really big news. So my guest coming up is Derek Sloan. He's a former MP. So if you're an MP in Canada, it's like being a member of Parliament. And he has a story, and I don't want to tie up too much time, but he really got railroaded by the Conservative Party. You have the Conservative Party in Canada, and then you have the Liberal Party in Canada. And the Conservative Party, I read his story. They really screwed him. I don't want to spend too much time on that, but I might circle back. But it was like the old days when Trump came in, and the Paul Ryans and the Mitt Romneys of the world. Trump didn't have to worry about the guys across the aisle, the Democrats. He had to worry about what they were doing to him behind his back. And believe me, every bad thing you could have said about Trump back in 2016, there were so many country club corporate Republican elites saying the same thing. And my guest, Derek Sloan, got caught up in that. But the real purpose of bringing him on the show today was to talk about Canada and the United States going forward. So I want to welcome Derek Sloan. He's the former member of Parliament. Derek, welcome to the Tom Azelby Show.
Hey, Tom, thanks a lot for having me. Glad to be here.
Hey, so, let's start it off with this. And later in the show, if I get a chance, I'm going to tell you a story, and I got a really good handle on it. So I don't think I'm going to butcher it for you. And believe me, you come out on top. But I will talk about that donation that they screwed you with before and how they kind of forced you out of the Republican Party because they tried to do that to Trump. But before we get to that, what do you think with the I do want to say he now leads the Ontario Party, and we'll try to get into that in a minute. What do you think Canadians are thinking waking up this morning? Their ally, even though they don't seem to like us that much anymore up there in Canada, but I know that could be an exaggeration. What do you think the Canadians are thinking this morning?
They're probably concerned in the same way that you said that, many Americans are concerned. I mean, obviously, starting a war is not a little thing, and wars can escalate. Probably the average person is thinking, oh, here Trump goes again. He's got an itchy trigger finger, and, what the hell is this going to do to the rest of the world? But I think we're all surprised as much as you guys are.
Yeah. And what I thought was going on, and it was, they were negotiating this. I think it's because so many Iranians were killed, but they started the negotiations up against, and I think the Iranian mullahs actually thought, and I don't blame them for thinking this, Trump's not going to attack us. He's going to cut a deal. He always wants a deal. He already bombed our nuclear facilities. He wants a deal. He can't risk everything by coming to take out our regime. And that's what, and you know what? I think, now we're seeing it. Trump wasn't kidding around again.
Yeah, that's a good point. And from my perspective, I was kind of, expecting the same with the negotiations that were happening last week. So we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, it's I know it's too early to try to figure out what's going on, and but he's gonna take a lot of heat from our allies. There's no doubt about it. He's gonna take it internally. He's gonna take it externally. The pressure's gonna be on. So I hope he's Tom Brady and he's got nerves of steel and he just executes and wins. So we'll hope for that. But let's jump into Canada.
Sure.
So my opinion and I want to tell you, my mom, born and raised on Yonge Street in Toronto, spent my summers on Georgian Bay. So I know your neck of the woods pretty well. But I do have a sense that, and maybe it's just a social media sense, but the Canadians seem to have a completely kind of negative attitudes, not only towards the Donald Trump administration, but the country itself. Do you find that, or am I exaggerating?
You know what? You're pretty close to being accurate. I would say that there's definitely a negative view generally about Trump. I think overall people still like America and want to be, friends with America. But I think the current leadership is sort of causing that reflexive anti-American attitude. And so it's kind of like, so long as these, trade and other threats are kind of happening, the average Canadian is saying, okay, well, fine, I'm not going to go vacation in the U.S. I'm going to do everything I can to, buy Canadian, support Canadian. But I think that would pass if, certain, if trade, difficulties pass, that kind of a thing. I think that could pass fairly quickly.
Well, so this is interesting too. Like the trade war that we had, and before you came on, I dug into it because there's been so much back and forth over the months between Carney and Trump, and Carney is your prime minister, letting my audience know that. And I do that because I said it before in the opening that a lot of Americans don't pay that much attention to Canadian politics. If you're a political junkie, if you live along the American border and you do trade with Canada, you're more in tune. But the United States has a ton of people and they're all over the place, and they're they're the big dogs, so they don't pay attention that much. So that's why I actually even said the Prime Minister of Canada is Carney. So I heard that with the trade war, there wasn't 90% still operated under the USMCA, and that's the deal between Mexico, Canada, and the United States. So we really weren't fighting that much over trade because 90% was still under the same thing. So it was kind of like business as usual. But now that is coming up, I believe in July, where they're doing a review of this. So I guess there's going to be even more kind of negotiating banter, kind of we'll go, like Carney's floating with other partners, China, India. My guess is that it's all going to get worked out. And maybe from a business standpoint, the United States and Canada will settle down. What do you think?
Well, I think you're right. And, I should have mentioned before, I actually spent my summers on Georgian Bay. My parents have what we call a cottage up there. And so I was really excited to hear about your experience there. It's a great, beautiful, beautiful area, as you know. But let's
hold you right there, Derek. Can I hold you right there because I want to go to break, and I know you're going to comment on the trade. So let's go to break, and I'm going to have you right back on after the break. We're going to break. Perfect. We'll be right back to talk about Canada and U.S. relations. We'll be right back.
Each spring, cherry blossoms mark a fleeting moment of beauty and renewal. For a few short weeks, petals fill the air and the season feels brand new. Inspired by nature's beauty, the Cherry Blossom Martini at P.F. Chang's captures that first taste of spring. Bright, floral, and delicately sweet. It pairs perfectly with the butternut squash dumplings. Take in something beautiful together and savor the flavor in full bloom at P.F. Chang's. See more seasonal specials at pfchangs.com. Must be 21 and over. Please drink responsibly.
Hola, amigos! Brad Evans here. Check out this booming voice and Pat Boyle on BetMGM tonight, covering the biggest sports stories from coast to coast, live and interactive on the free Odyssey app, discussing NFL offseason news and getting you ready for the madness in college hoops. BetMGM tonight with me, Brad Evans and Pat Boyle, live and interactive, Monday through Friday night starting at 6 Eastern, presented by BetMGM. Always live on the free Odyssey app and watch on YouTube at BetMGM tonight.
Pastor Brad Lacey here, First Baptist Church, Conshohocken. Join us Saturdays for the great message and be blessed. 5 a.m. right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Tune in tonight starting at 7 p.m. for the Bob Pantano Saturday Night Dance Party. Live from Adelphia in Deptford, the Bob Pantano Saturday Night Dance Party is broadcast exclusively on 98.1 HD2 and Bob Pantano Dance Party Radio on the Odyssey app. Driven by Colonial Nissan.
Why does it matter to members that Aetna was named a Best Medicare Advantage company by U.S. News & World Report? Because they chose a plan that gives them real support, real people, and real care. We show up with care management that ensures doctors work together on complicated conditions. We show up with the latest in online tools to make healthcare easier to use anytime. We don't show up for awards. We show up for you. And showing up for you is how healthier happens together.
Texting enrolls in recurring automated text marketing messages. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply. Reply HELP for help or stop to opt out.
Are you drinking too much? Is alcohol affecting your relationships? Could drinking be affecting your job?
Hi, I'm Jonathan, founder of OrHealth. I struggled with alcohol misuse for 15 years. I tried self-help, therapy, and traditional 12-step programs, but nothing really worked. That's why I started OrHealth. OrHealth provides access to safe and effective medication, FDA approved for the treatment of alcohol issues. A daily pill proven to reduce alcohol cravings and make it easier to drink less or quit.
To join the thousands who are drinking less or who have quit altogether, text EASY to 71888. You'll be sent a secure link to OrHealth's private online assessment. If treatment is right for you, a licensed medical professional will prescribe medication for discreet and convenient delivery to your door. Just text EASY to 71888. That's EASY to 71888.
Not available in all states. For SMS terms, privacy policy, risk, and restrictions, please go to orhealth.com/terms. Use as directed.
Hey, Philly, Hugh Douglas here. Look, it's winter, people. Oh, man, winter. So warm up like I do during winter with a glass of Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey. Head to your local Fine Wine and Good Spirits location and pick up your favorite bottle. Try the Tennessee Honey, Fire, Apple, or my new favorite, the new Jack Daniel's Blackberry flavor. And don't forget the OG, the classic Jack Daniel's Old No. 7 Black Label. All $2 off. Go to finewineandgoodspirits.com. And remember, celebrate responsibly.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-323-8922. 800-323-8922. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-323-8922.
You can now tune in to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Welcome back to 1210 WPHT. This is Tom Azelby on the Tom Azelby Show. I'm talking with Derek Sloan, who's the leader of the Ontario Party in Canada. And I will be getting back to Iran, but originally Derek is coming on, and we're going to get through this. I want to talk about the relationship with America and Canada. We're talking about trade. And before we get to trade, Derek, Wasaga Beach is where I was on Georgian Bay, which is that whole Georgian Bay is a gorgeous spot. So I'm sure, and we have that in common. And everyone calls it a cottage up there. I don't think Americans know that. Every second home up there on the lakes are called cottages. Am I correct about that?
Yes, 100% correct. Yeah, so that would be what a lake vacation home in America, I guess, would be the equivalent.
Yeah. They say it's our lake house. There's lake house and beach house, and I think the New Englanders probably use the word cottage, but it is a great spot. You're in a beautiful province. Canada is a gorgeous spot. So let's get back to the trade. So do you think in July, I believe the new trade agreement between U.S., Mexico, and Canada, do you think Carney is going to get this worked out with Trump?
I think so. I mean, I think it's just so important to all three of our countries that something will happen that's probably somewhat similar to what's already there. I think, the Canadian concern here, and I should preface all of this by saying that I personally like Trump. I like a lot of what he's doing. Doesn't mean I agree with everything, but I think the average Canadian took his words seriously when he said that he wanted to use economic pressure to annex Canada. And, that could have been Trump sort of, talking off the cuff. I know he would like Canada to join the U.S., but, I think that just really struck Canadians took that seriously. And they,
I get it. That's against their, their sovereignty. I can understand it. But everyone knows that he says it in jest. But I understand what I'm amazed that they keep going back to it. It's like someone telling a bad joke at a cocktail party, and you go to 10 more cocktail parties and you say, "You remember when he said that?" Like at some point, we got to start working together.
Yeah, and I agree. And you know what? I mean, I think in all honesty, Trump kind of does keep bringing it up. You know what I mean? In terms of, there was that picture in the Oval Office of the American flag over all of North America and stuff. So, I mean, I don't think people believe it's going to happen tomorrow, but I just feel like there's been some, erratic statements and comments that have prejudiced people against Trump. And in Trump's defense, Canadians were kind of already prejudiced against him by the media beforehand. So there's various dynamics at play.
No, I get it.
But I do think in terms of the trade, I think that there will be some kind of a deal. Now, I would say that, though much of our trade is still tariff-free under the USMCA, some of the industries like the auto industry and the steel industry and the aluminum industry and steel and so on have been impacted, in a big way in Canada. And so, that even though it's percentage-wise, I guess, small, we've had, major industry disruptions. And so that has, caused some issues as well.
Okay, well let's hope they get that worked out in July, because obviously we want a good partnership with Canada going forward. But the concern is, and because we have the same concern in the United States, the more left that the left goes, and that's going on in Canada, and the left down here is completely crazy, you start thinking of new alignments. Like, I actually think we have a lot more in common with Saskatchewan and Alberta than we do with California. I think that's true. Where you start identifying with people in Canada from those regions more than you identify with your fellow countrymen. That's a different, that could enter us into a different world. It could be dangerous. I don't know where that ends up. But that kind of thing, ideology is now your connection to your ideology usually was what country you were from, where you grew up, how you felt about being American. And now I actually there's conservative Canadians like you, I have a lot more in common with than I do my neighbors in New Jersey.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. And, the funny thing that might actually come out of all of this is that there might be more North American integration. And I know that Alberta has been wanting to, more pipelines and wanting to sell more oil to the United States for years, but they've been blocked on both sides of the border. The Keystone XL has been shut down. I don't even know how many times now. But, things like this, I think there's actually room for more integration, but regionally in North America between us.
That's a very good point. I actually see more of that in America, where the red state, blue state divide is so, two different worlds. I live in two states. I live in New Jersey, blue state, and I live in Florida, red state. Completely different culture, Florida's just better. It's a better place to live. It's less political, believe it or not. New Jersey, everyone's got to sign on the law, crazy laws, they're going bankrupt, all those different things. But there could be strategic things where red states and certain regions start making their own deals. I don't know. Maybe this is a new world that's coming. But that leads me to my next question. We have 50 states here. And supposedly the way the Constitution's wrote, they all kind of have a lot of their own power. With the provinces in Canada, your federal government has more control over the provinces, I think, from a organizational legal standpoint. Am I correct about that?
Yeah, you are correct. The other thing, too, is that provinces have more power than they put on. So they need to start taking the power back. And the provincial party that I lead is a provincial party. So it's like a state level party. But, part of the message that we're preaching is to, take over our provincial responsibilities under the Constitution. And that's similar to, in the States. I mean, there's a lot of sort of states' rights movements, and there's ways in which states have sort of, let the federal government kind of take over their jurisdiction. And I think that, strong provincial rights, strong state rights is actually, positive.
So, and believe me, that's where I see the future of the United States is. I don't care what California wants to do. As states need to kind of the weaker our federal government is, it's better for everyone, because then you have a choice where you want to go. Your conservative leader, Pierre, let me pronounce his name, Pierre Poilievre. I probably butchered that a little bit. What's his future? Is he your guy? Is he the one that can pull the power back to the conservatives in Canada?
So I don't think so. I mean, I was a part of that party, and as the parties generally are like kind of private clubs that operate on their own rules. Basically, it's interesting, and I think what Trump has done is in some ways disrupted that, which I think was great.
He was a bull in the China shop with that. Exactly. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think it's great. And a lot of people didn't realize that the vehicles of democracy were not democratic at all. And basically, a lot of people just didn't know that stuff went on behind the scenes. I don't think that he's going to be the savior of Canada per se. I don't think he's a bad person. I know him, not well, but we did serve in Parliament together for a couple of years. Listen, I think he's mishandled the Trump file, honestly.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he has. I don't know if he has the full breadth of what is needed. I mean, what you guys have done in the U.S. is you guys have created like a full body conservatism under Trump. Like nobody is really like a social liberal and an economic conservative. There's a few people. But you guys have become full-bodied conservatives on most fronts, and we have people like that in Canada, but our leaders don't act that way, and I think that we need. If you see where I'm going with that, that's what we need.
Yeah, I definitely see where you're going. I got to go to break. And let me tell you, I loved having you on. I'm going to have you back on, and I'll tell you one thing. That O'Toole guy reminded me of Paul Ryan, who used to lead the caucus or whatever. Total elite, always looking to cut a deal, corporate country club type. And I just want to say, I read that he was behind what happened to you. Totally unfair. I'd love to have you back on to talk about that. Everybody, Derek Sloan from the Ontario Party. Great guest. Great having you. We got to go to break.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
At LendSeek, we know running a business takes heart, hustle, and sometimes a little help. That's why we stand with you with our exclusive AI lending platform, connecting you to over 100 funders. If you've been in business for at least 2 years with a minimum annual revenue of $500,000, you can get up to $1 million in funding in as fast as 24 hours. No collateral, no prepayment penalties, no red tape. Apply today with no cost or obligation at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I'm Paul Cozy from Cozy Jewelers, and we're not your typical jewelry store. We're a family-owned jeweler and manufacturer, crafting nearly every piece right here in-house. When you shop with us, you're getting a curated, custom design experience, not just a selection of cases on a shelf. That means every piece is personal, crafted with care, and made to last. If you want something different, truly unique, and made just for you, this is fine jewelry the way it's meant to be. Come see us in Newtown Square and step up to the 5th C. Color, cut, clarity, carat, and cozy.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
As the owner, coach, and quarterback of your small business, you call the shots. From inventory to payroll and more. Now it's time to bring in LendSeek, your funding MVP. No delay of game here. Get up to $2 million in as fast as 24 hours for business lines of credit or term loans. Let LendSeek's AI marketplace assist you in making the winning play and score that touchdown. Apply at lendseek.com. LENDSEEK.com.
From North Wales to Willingboro, we know your favorite stations, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Welcome back to 1210 WPHT here in Philadelphia. You are with Tom Azelby. What are we talking about now? Well, we're going to be talking about Iran for the next who knows how long, because the United States, if you're just tuning in right now, the United States and Israel have conducted a strike against Iran. We talked about it at the top of the hour. I might cover it a little bit more later in the show. I know Iran is throwing missiles all over the Middle East to any of the UAE countries, Qatar, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia. I think they're throwing some ICBs. They're trying to start a nightmare over there. That's what they're doing. I don't know how effective that is. I'm sure we will find out. But these mullahs are crazy. The Islamic regime, they are a theocracy. If they lost half the population of their country, they don't care. So that's why these are dicey, dangerous things that we're taking on. But they've killed a lot of Americans. So if anyone had, and believe me, there's a lot of Americans killed by the Iranians with all those IEDs. I mean, I could go on the list. So every time we take out a mullah and send them to paradise, that's a good thing for America. You know what? I want to talk about what's coming up this weekend. Obviously, tomorrow morning, you got Barry Sable at 10 a.m. We are the weekend guys, so make sure to catch his show. And then Phil Omquist, this week in music, he's playing, I don't know, Cold. We were talking briefly. Yeah, I think it's Cold Cut. At the annual holiday for Cold Cuts is on Tuesday. I never knew there was a holiday for that, Kirk. But he's going to be playing. Phil's going to be playing tonight from 11 to 1. He's going to be playing music with cold in them. So you got to tune in to figure that out. We have just had a very brief conversation, but make sure you tune in for that tonight. And don't forget Barry Sable tomorrow, 10 to 11. Okay. Let's move on. This is something I wanted to cover. The U.S. hockey team. Did you see how I was such a decent human being not bringing up to Derek Sloan, the leader of the Ontario Party, a Canadian? I didn't bring up how our hockey teams, our men's team and our women's team whooped them. I was very respectful, Kirk. Did you see that?
You did.
Okay. Yeah, of course you saw that. You were listening. You're the producer. You had to hear me. Exactly. Okay, I got to get into this hockey thing. Here, it's funny. Trump gets killed for everything. One joke, but I want to get into Hillary Knight. She's the women's team captain. And when Trump was talking to the men's hockey team on the phone in the locker room, Trump says, "I must tell you, we're going to have to bring the women's team. You do know that." This is what he's, talking over the speakerphone to all the hockey players. They just won the gold medal. And he said, if I don't, I'll be impeached. Okay. And so of course the left are like, oh, he's a misogynist. He doesn't like women. The same old thing. And let me tell you, I'm against sports teams going to the White House. I am totally against the NFL, NBA, any college teams. We want politics out of sports, and I agree with that. And I don't think those teams should go. It's just a lightning rod, regardless of who's president. If they're going to see Obama or Biden or Trump, Reagan started it. I think it's past its time. The difference with the Olympics is they're representing America. So I understand that presidents should, I actually believe they should bring in any Olympic winners that have a giant impact on the country. Everyone's rooting for them. It's very patriotic. It's usually unifying. The sports teams aren't, but not anymore. Everything we go to war over. So Trump's quote about, I'm going to have to invite the women or they're going to impeach me. Now, Hillary Knight was the women's team captain. And I feel sorry for her because she blew a good opportunity to not say anything. And that's something, if you're in business, always remember that. There's just times not to say anything. And what she did say, and she just walked into a bear trap. She said it was a distasteful joke. It overshadows the women's success of the hockey team and all female Olympians. So Donald Trump's one little comment, which really wasn't directed toward the women. Actually, he acknowledged that they had a great win too. He acknowledged that. The attack was against the left, that they will look to ruin anything. They will attack him. They will kill him if he happened not to invite the women's team. He was really saying how the rage machine, the outrage machine, the hyperventilating leftist media in this country will go nuts if I don't invite them. And in the scheme of things, and I want to tell Captain Hillary this, because this is just me being honest to the women's hockey team. The men are NHL players. They're widely known. There's no women's professional hockey team that I know of. The men, it's a professional sport. People follow and wear the jerseys. They knew all of the players out there. The NHL is a big business. People know all the players out there if you follow hockey. 4 times the amount of people watch the men's compared to the women's. Okay? That's a fact. Life is not about everything being equal. Okay? That's not how the world works, nor should it. The men's hockey team, bigger stars, bigger stakes, bigger impact, okay? That's a fact. That's just the way. That's life. That's not anti-woman. That's not anti-woman sports. And people, what happened is people fed that woman's captain of the ladies hockey team. They fed her like, you need to go out there and show your outrage, political outrage. She didn't have to say anything because it was like, it was talking about not the women's hockey team. Believe me, Trump loved them. He called them and he gave them their kudos. I think he called them in the locker room. And that woman should thank Trump that you don't have trans women playing hockey. They would wreck you out there. They would literally wreck you out there. So you should thank Donald Trump. I actually feel sorry for Captain Hillary of the women's hockey, U.S. hockey team. She blew a great opportunity to just say nothing or say, hey, I get it, whatever. No, we'll go if we could go, blah, whatever. Just move off of it. I wish someone had whispered in her ear correctly, because let me tell you, it doesn't help her. The old Jordan thing, conservatives buy sneakers too. She should have said nothing. Okay. Next up, I think I got a couple of minutes. Kirk, when do you want me out of here? 8:45 for this break?
Correct.
Okay, watch me do this. Okay, Gavin Newsom, governor of California. He's on an Atlantic book tour. Okay, and he's being interviewed by Mayor Dickens, and who happens to be an African-American mayor of Atlanta. He said, I'm no better than you because I had 960 SATs, okay? This is what I'm understanding is, first of all, there's always narratives. The right has narratives too. 70% of that audience was white, is my understanding. So everyone was saying, oh my God, look at him, Governor Newsom, the soft bigotry, insulting a black audience. Well, it wasn't necessarily a black audience. And this is why it's insulting, regardless of what color you are. Newsom has dyslexia. Everyone knows that. So I took it this way. So if you have crummy SATs and he had dyslexia and he got a 960 and you got a 920, how does that make you feel? That, you don't even have a mental issue or a learning disability and he still got a better score. So it was just such a dumb thing to say. Like, because I got bad SAT scores, I'm just like you. And he's not like you. He got diagnosed in first grade because he was a rich kid. People didn't really start knowing about dyslexia to 1992. So he's not like you. In the 1980s, they started talking about it, but his parents were very powerful people. His dad was a judge. He was a tax attorney for the Getty family. He started his business with the Getty grandson, who was a billionaire. That's how he became an entrepreneur in the hospitality business. He is not like you at all. And I hate when rich guys do that. It's a giant red flag. That's phony alert. Red, white, and blue, orange, whatever color it is, that's a total phony alert. And rich people who live differently, don't say, I'm just like you. You're not. No one's like each other, especially him. I mean, I just gave you, he's hanging out with the Gettys as a kid. And he's really not like you, but there's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean you can't be a good government. Donald Trump's not like me, but that doesn't mean we don't see things the same way. But pulling that, I'm just like you. He's not authentic at all. Actually, Trump is authentic, and I know because he built his business with all these blue-collar workers. He talks their language. And that audience was all political people. There was about 800 of them there. So maybe he was like them because the audience was probably full of delusional Democrats, donors, government workers, lobbyists. Yeah, they probably were like him. Delusional Democrats coming in to see this guy talk. Anyway, that's my takedown on Newsom. We'll be back after the break.
When was the last time you watched your home movies?
Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for, their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry.
Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos.
We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever.
It's fast, we always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. magazine are all talking about Legacy Box.
New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box.
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. legacybox.com/value.
Philadelphia homeowners, your home is one of your biggest investments. Closet Factory helps you protect it by adding custom storage solutions designed to last. From closets and home offices to garages and pantries, Closet Factory creates American-made, custom-built organization that increases function, beauty, and long-term value. Call 215-461-4013 today or visit closetfactory.com. Closet Factory, smart storage built the right way.
Tune in tonight starting at 7 p.m. for the Bob Pantano Saturday Night Dance Party, live from Adelphia in Deptford. The Bob Pantano Saturday Night Dance Party is broadcast exclusively on 98.1 HD2 and Bob Pantano Dance Party Radio on the Odyssey app, driven by Riverfront Limousine Services.
Are you struggling with hearing loss? Do friends and family complain that your TV is too loud? Are you tired of asking people to repeat themselves? If you want to hear clearly again, but don't want a bulky hearing aid that makes you look old, you need to try Atom X by Audion Hearing. The Atom X is a life-changing breakthrough, precisely designed by top audio engineers, fits comfortably in your ear, is nearly invisible, and lets you adjust your sound so you can hear conversations clearly, at home, at dinner, or on the go. And right now, you can try the Atom X risk-free for 45 days. Call Audion Hearing now at 800-295-HEAR. That's HEAR for a 45-day risk-free home trial with free shipping and money-back guarantee. The Atom X is lightweight, rechargeable, practically invisible, and costs 90% less than prescription hearing aids. Don't miss out. Call 800-295-HEAR for complete details. That's 800-295-4327. Hearing for everyone. Audion Hearing.
Free speech lives here. With Rich Zioli. Weeknights at 6. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
Welcome back to 1210 WPHT in Philadelphia. This is the Tom Azelby Show. We're wrapping it up this morning. And if you're just tuning in for the last few minutes, the United States and Israel have been attacking Iran. We've covered a little bit of that. There'll be plenty of that over the next few days. One thing I did want to get to was the State of the Union. I know everyone has probably talked it out, but I got a couple of things I want to say about it. So Trump said, we're entering a golden age. And my first reaction to that is that if the Democrats don't destroy it with their chaos strategy, because that is their strategy, it is create chaos and so much disruption in the streets and everywhere that everyone just says, okay, if Trump goes away, everything will be better. That's what's going to stop the golden age, because there's a lot of good things coming down the pike as far from a domestic side, with the taxes and everything. I'm not going to rattle them off, but that chaos strategy, when people are so desperate, they're dangerous. And in some ways, Democrats are very dangerous. They sent 2 people out in the streets of Minnesota who got themselves shot by federal officers with legal arrest warrants. I mean, they are nuts. We could go through a whole list of how nuts they are. I'm optimistic, but the more we succeed, always remember this, the more Trump keeps succeeding, especially even if this Iran thing turns out to be a great success, the crazier they're going to get. It's not like things get better and they go back into their hovels. They actually get louder and more dangerous. Obviously, he had some great tributes the other night. That was an interesting State of the Union. It was wild, and Trump's wild, but the Democrats are nuts. And but anyway, so there were all different good sections. The tributes, the World War II pilot, he's 100 years old. The Army helicopter pilot still flying wounded into Venezuela with the Delta Force on the Maduro takedown. That Coast Guard guy with the kid who pulled 165 people out of the water, out of raging waters. I mean, America, wow, it's just great things. The Ukraine girl. I hate that story. I hate seeing that video. I hate seeing anything about it. But the Ukraine girl murdered on that Charlotte train by a vicious, sick sociopath. Everyone knew he was a schizophrenic, not treated. We have no insane asylums. We all know. But the Ukraine mom is sitting there crying. She flew in from Ukraine. Her baby girl brutally stabbed in the neck. And Trump did a brutal takedown of the Democrats. Why? Because they deserve it. How do you not stand? You see a woman there crying over a brutally murdered daughter sitting on a light rail, and you can't stand for that? Like, you're that angry. And when you looked at their faces, the hate and contempt in their faces is unbelievable. They are so outraged. They are so mad. They can't even be decent. And that's a huge problem. I'm not just doing that to call them out. I'm just saying, like, that's the times we live in. And actually, that type of stuff, it gets dangerous for a country. They're so angry. They don't care. Their hearts are gone. Their souls are gone, just sitting there. And Trump said these, when he talked about, not allowing kids to socially transition by schools and government officials. That means, like, you don't tell the parents that this kid thinks he's a boy, let him do this in school or whatever. We'll treat him differently. And don't tell the parents. He says these people are crazy. They are crazy. And then Trump, the first duty of the American government is to protect its American citizens, not illegal aliens. That's obvious. That's in the Constitution. That's the oath you swear. Congress didn't stand for that. He says shame. He says that shame. But anyway, I'm running out of time. I had so much to cover on this. So I do have one caller. Let's see if we can squeeze in our caller, Kevin. Kevin, you're on 1210
Hello,
WPHT
sir.
with Tom Azelby.
Hello, real quick. Major Tom. So yes, there is a professional women's hockey league.
Okay.
One of the teams is in Jersey, but it's about 8 teams, but they're expanding every year. And the second thing I just wanted to say, I remember clearly, and this is what put Trump on my radar back in 2002, how he was one of the very few people speaking out against the invasion of Iraq. And just now I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? But it was a great State of the Union. I was really proud to call myself an American for that. So
yeah, no,
that's it.
That was great.
Have a great week.
And thanks for the information on the Women's Hockey League. Now, even though there's a Women's Hockey League, I don't know how many people are watching, and Kevin knows that because I know Kevin's a great hockey fan. But the men's hockey team. That was big, and it all makes sense. I'm not going to relitigate that, but it was great having you this weekend. Have a great weekend, and let's hope that Trump's decision was spot on, because this is big stuff. It should make you uneasy, but let's hope and pray for the best. I think if he went there, he knows what he's doing, or at least I hope so.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA